Actions. Just bear with me. We received a letter on the 26th of September to appear before the Portfolio Committee on Communications, and the brief was to come and explain whether we have adhered to the Supreme Court of Appeal as judgment. You see, when that happened, I instructed the company secretary to start preparing for that brief. That was the only thing that they wanted then. On the 30th of September, the brief changed. And let me read you the letter. It says, briefing by the SABC board on the first bullet, implementation of the recommendations of the Public Protector Court when governance and ethics fail. Second bullet, actions the board has taken in light of the decision of the SCA ruling. Third, process followed in the appointment of former Chief Operations Officer to the position of Group Executive, Corporate Affairs. Another bullet, implications of the High Court, SCA and ICASA ruling on the board charter. Another bullet, compliance of the board to Section 13 and Section 15 of the Broadcasting Act. Those were the things that we had to center our presentation on, and that is what we did. But you see, if things are planned, you will quickly realize by the type of questions that are posed. For instance, I was blamed for not responding to a whole host of questions, or our presentation didn't have a whole host of questions answered. I remember saying to the honorable member, if we knew that there were a whole host of questions, we could have prepared a presentation on them. But we were not able to speculate what members of the Portfolio Committee wanted. For me, I believe that was very, very unfair. As you have heard, I read you the brief. Now, let me leave that. When questions were raised, I would say there were two rounds of questions. The first, we were given an opportunity to respond. But the last round's questions, we were never given an opportunity to respond, and the committee felt that no, they needed to dissolve us. We had members who resigned. This is the other point that I want to talk about. Well, it is their prerogative to do so. But those members who were praised for being brave and honest and professional and what have you, maybe Parliament doesn't know their other side. Or maybe the portfolio committee deliberately doesn't want to know their side. One of the members who resigned, last year I was called by someone from a newspaper. That someone said to me, the leaks that we get are from your board members. And I got the names. I demanded that the devices that we use to store information be handed in so that a thorough investigation could be made. Do you know what happened? Accidentally, all the information was wiped out. Now you ask yourself, why didn't it happen before I requested that device? And I know that it is unlawful to delete information belonging to a national key point. Now you ask yourself, is that professional? As that person purports to be. The other thing is that we were blamed for having fired board members, and we were told that we didn't have powers to do so. Unfortunately, some people don't want to know or don't even bother to read. But the Companies Act, Section 71, gives us those powers. To show that Parliament, I mean the members of the Portfolio Committee were not objective. When I was listening to their deliberations, one member of COPE said, we must ensure by hook or crook that the board is dissolved. What does that mean? It means they will use whatever tactic is there, whether right or wrong, to make sure that the board leaves. Another one went on to say, you see, we should write to the members of the board who have not resigned and inform them that we are going to institute an inquiry. They will be intimidated and they will resign. These are bullying tactics. These are bullying tactics. And it can't be allowed in our country for parliamentarians to use bullying tactics. Let me go to the other thing that I want to discuss as well. The issue of one board member who was fired is because she was involved in a fraudulent conduct, and I've got proof of that. Where are those printed copies of mine? There is just look for a copy of the traveling schedules and so on, and give it to members of the press, And these are not fabricated. These are not fabricated. They are real facts. And this is what we wanted. We have always been telling Parliament that the people you trust are not as faithful as you believe. So, oops. I want members of media to have that evidence. This is not fabricated. You tell me, what is that? What is that? But this is a person who has been praised at Parliament yesterday, one of them. And we have always said we have got evidence. Another one did not declare his interest. And we found out that he was an auditor of 3 companies doing business with us here. And I've also have that evidence. I've got that evidence. But these are the people that parliamentarians are saying they were doing a sterling job. They shouldn't be fired. I never mentioned names, eh? I've just given you a document. I've never mentioned a name, and I will never mention a name. So that is evidence of what all along we have been saying. But you see, the problem in South Africa is that those of us who are doing our work diligently, who want to root out corruption and other malpractices, we are not liked. There was a board in 2009 which had the same problems. People not declaring their interests, who were involved in fraudulent practices. That was the board under Dr. Ngubane. You know what happened to it? Do you remember what happened to that board? You don't? I'm leaving it as a homework to you. Go and find out what happened to that board. The same thing is happening to this board, precisely because we are trying to root out corruption. So all I'm saying is that people who are out there, we know that it's a fact. I'm not mentioning any name, but some of them are dreaming about becoming the CEO of this company. What type of a CEO will that be if the person is not honest? Some of them are dreaming to become the chairperson of this board. And I believe that they are cowards. When decisions are taken at board level, they are debated there. There are instances where decisions were taken which I didn't like. But because the majority said they were fine with the decision, I had to also support that decision. It is said that we are not complying with judgments. I still wonder which judgment so far haven't we complied with? We were told that we should charge Saudi, and the charges were outlined by Judge Skiepers. We charged. We were told to institute a disciplinary inquiry that was chaired by an independent chair. and an independent initiator, and Saudi was exonerated. Now we are told that no, that was a whitewash. You know, people, the problem with people is that they already have their own outcome. When that doesn't happen, it means the tribunal was a farce. They have their own outcome. So why should we then be told to charge when people already have their own outcome? It's unfair. We were told that we acted irrationally and unlawful by appointing Saudi to the position of COO. He reverted back to his position, and we are told we don't understand law. And I was surprised yesterday. Some of these people, I tried to tell them, they were even asking me, do you understand the Broadcasting Act? I do. And I read this act. And on many occasions, I would even, after a while, I will even go through the Broadcasting Act and the Companies Act, Labor Relations Act, so that I know what is happening. I don't claim to be a legal expert. But from a layman's point of view, at least I know what that act or those acts are all about. When I wrote to board members about the allegations, some of them were saying, no, Chairman, we were not appointed by you. There are no steps that you will take to discipline us, and so on and so forth. But because I check the act first and acclimatize myself to what powers that act gives me or gives the board, then I do what is necessary. Finally, you want to know whether I'm resigning or not. I want to leave that to, remember, I'm still waiting for the letter that is supposed to be coming to me, bullying me to resign. That is what they are saying, because they want to make me through the so-called inquiry, they want to make me become a coward. And they even said, obviously, as individuals, when they receive these letters, they are definitely going to resign. I haven't acclimatized myself with the contents of the letter. I'm not sure even it is coming, but in order for me not to keep you in suspense, let the inquiry come. I'm ready for it. So it means I'm going nowhere. I am going nowhere. Let the inquiry come. And others yesterday were even asking me, and now that you are dissolved, what about you? Before I was appointed to serve on this board, I was already a professor at the University of South Africa. That's where I'm working even now. So I didn't come to this board because I didn't have anything to do. I didn't come to this board because of boredom, or because I thought that it will be another employment. I'm not an employee here. I am not. So that's where my focus will be, but I want to reiterate what I've said. I am going nowhere with or without an inquiry. Thank you very much.